Welcome to this week's installment of Fit and Well with me, Andra Anderson, your host. I love the start of a new week, and I don't know how you feel, but I feel like the energy in 2023 so far has been amazing. And part of it could come from I spent the end of my year differently than I have been. I had time off of work and we didn't try to rush and go somewhere. We usually take a trip over the holiday, and we did it this year because we had some projects we wanted to work on in the house. And I think that has resulted in this push catapult forward into 2023. I am just ready to get things on the calendar. I am ready to be all organized and planned out and everything. So whatever. I was a little sad that we weren't traveling. We made the conscious decision not to, but so used to traveling that week that I think it felt different. But now I have all this great energy and I'm here for it. So I'd love to know how you're feeling. How are you feeling this week? Share with me. Let me know. I love getting comments when I post this on social media or on YouTube. And I get super giddy every time I get a notification that somebody has subscribed. So thank you for doing that. I love having these conversations with you, and I want to keep it going, and I want to get real-time feedback from you. So if there's a question that you have or something that you want to share, please reach out. Would love to hear it. So on that note, I wanted to dive into group fitness this week. Surprise, surprise. If you have known me in the last 15 years, you've probably placed me in the same category as somebody who loves to work out, group fitness, fitness professional, all of those different things. I started my group fitness career in 2009, so about 14 years ago. But I found group fitness before that. I had been diligently taking classes for 5, 6, 7 months to the point that I was doing like 4 or 5 a week. This was back when Zumba was just hot and fresh and new, and everybody wanted to dive into it, and it was being offered either no cost or low cost where I worked at the time at Washington College. And I just loved it. I was looking for something engaging. I had gone from being kind of a top, I hate saying it this way, but pretty indispensable as a student at Washington College. I was student government president, yearbook editor, student events board president. I had a ton of research gigs I was doing. I was always working on a project or in a meeting or representing the student body in some capacity. And it was sort of a letdown, and nobody really prepares you for this. If that transition from college to your next step, there was sort of a letdown. Like I got the job that I had as an admissions counselor because of my reputation with all of the things I was doing as a student. And I'm grateful for that because dang, we were in a recession and jobs with benefits were hard to come by. Jobs that you would like with benefits were hard to come by for sure. And I appreciated having that job, but I came in as a fresh new admissions counselor and all of a sudden had to create opportunities to be heard by my peers, and that was weird for me. So when I found Zumba, it was so amazing. It was this thing that made me feel really good. I looked forward to it. It was a way to meet people, to be honest. I really just wasn't into the whole happy hour scene. Like, I didn't want to work with people all day and then go to a happy hour after work. I wanted to do something for me, and I found Zumba, and I was doing it 4 or 5 times a week. I was driving far to go take classes even, and when our steady instructor said, "Hey, I'm peacing out and moving somewhere else," it was like, oh no. But what are we gonna do about our 4 times a week dates? I need this. And I decided to take the leap and become an instructor. And I'm so glad that I did, because I can't even imagine my life without fitness. And if you would have said to people at high school or even in college that I would be moonlighting or taking on jobs as a group fitness instructor, nobody would believe you. That just wasn't who I was as a person. And now it's such a big part of my identity. And I wanted to go back to that whole like first time I stepped into a group fitness class. Now, I did not have a dance or any kind of like team background, other than I feel like we did, as little kids, we did dance at like the community center for like a 6-week period. They probably had gymnastics for a little bit, and I did like Girl Scouts. I played softball in a summer league for a couple of summers, but I really didn't like it. I only did it, my older sister did it, and it was like either do this or just be forced to watch it. So I did it, but I did not like it. So I never really had that team aspect. I never had that really growing up. So embracing it as an adult was sort of a different adventure, and I'd love to unpack that. But my mantra that I shared for the week is, I will try something new. And it got me thinking about this time of the year in January, where a lot of individuals, and maybe you are part of this, will try something new. Maybe you'll step into a gym that you haven't been in before or haven't been in for a long time, or maybe this is the year that you're going to try a different class or try a class. And I encourage it. I know there's all of these like funny memes this time of the year that are like, you know, the gym rats are walking into the gym after January 1st, and it's just like big eyes, like, who are all these people in my space? I know that gyms are usually a little overwhelmed this time of the year, but I welcome it because it takes a lot of courage to make that first step. It takes a lot to get yourself out of your comfort zone to try something new. But here's the thing. If you want something that you've never had before, you're gonna have to do something that you've never done before to get it, right? If you wanna make a change in your life, if you want to feel a certain way, you're gonna have to do things that you haven't done. You're gonna have to get a little bit uncomfortable in order to get there. So I wanted to spend a little time talking about group fitness, because I know there's definitely a personality type that likes group fitness, and it is not for everybody. And I'm not here to try to win you over to the group fitness side. When you are an independent workout person or a personal training person and that's what you like, awesome. But you don't know until you try it. I don't think of myself as an extroverted person. I'm not a team girl. I am not I'm not a former athlete. Like, none of that ever appealed to me. But group fitness, dang, I'm so glad I stepped into that first class. So it's been a long time, but with group fitness, I have the fortune of seeing people try it for the first time. And so I try to lean in and talk with them the first time somebody comes to a class, or the first several times, to see how they're doing, what they're thinking, how they feel, what made them come back, those kinds of things. And I wanted to put together a list of how to rock a group fitness class. Maybe because of the pandemic, you stopped going to classes and you've been doing virtual, and maybe you're ready to dive back in and things have changed. So let's talk about some tips that I have. This is 14 years in the group fitness industry. Some tips to rock a group fitness class. So the first one, it seems sort of obvious, but this is actually a really hard part. Show up. Show up on time. There were people that would come that were new to class, had never been to a class before, that would show up 10 minutes late. And there's like no time to walk you through what we're doing, what to prepare for, where the bathroom is, all of those different elements. So if you're gonna be new at something, show up, but show up a little early. Show up a little early. The hardest part is going from registering for that class to showing up to that class. Almost every single class that I've taught, there's somebody that registers that doesn't come. almost every single class. Now, there's a myriad of reasons why that happens, and I know some group fitness instructors have sort of encouraged me to still charge people that don't show up that have registered, and during COVID, I did that for a little while because we were so limited to the number of people we could have in one space. But I want to kind of understand what stops somebody once they've registered from coming to that class, especially if they're new, So register and show up. That's your first tip. And along with that, tip number 2 is show up on time, but even better, show up early, especially if you've never met that instructor before, if you've never been to that location before, if you've never been to that particular class before. When you come early, the instructor or other people in the class, there's always somebody in the class that has appointed themselves the mayor, and they know what's up. They probably know the moves better than me. They're super on point when it comes to talking about the class or hyping it up or letting you know what to expect. So there's somebody that will talk to you. It's important to go early so that you can have those conversations and feel a little bit better about being there, or you might even get a little insider tip on some of the movements that are coming or songs or things to look out for. And we can also chat a little bit about what your expectations are and what your goals are. If I know those things, and if your fitness instructor knows what the heck you're doing this for, we'll make that class super catered to you. So I love, like, for example, at a yoga class to ask the people who show up, hey, what's hurting on your body today? What do you want to pay special attention to? What movements might feel good today? And those people who show up early or on time, they get the class pretty much catered to them. And that's amazing. Then you feel so good about being there and you feel like that was so worth your time. So show up, but show up early. Show up early. Even on time, I would say just show up early. Just come a couple minutes early. Don't be like trying to rush into class, because then when you rush in, it's already started. You get this different energy and it's just a different feeling. And yeah, you might be nervous, but guess what? Every single person there was new at some point. Every single person, even the individual that welcomes you, that's not the instructor, they were new at one point too. And the instructor, I was new at one point. And let me tell you, nobody believes this, but I was in the back corner. Nobody look at me. Don't talk to me. That was who I was. So we've all been there. So it is okay to be new. It's okay to be a beginner at something. Allow yourself that opportunity. It creates these new connections in your brain. It changes your energy. You have the opportunity to try some new stuff and learn something new about yourself, move different body parts, try different combinations that you may not have tried before. And that's exciting. It can be nerve-wracking, I understand, but it's exciting too. It's exciting. Show up early. With that show up early, number 3 is introduce yourself to the instructor. We can pretty much tell who has never come to class before or who hasn't been in a while. And I'm not here to kind of like call you out in front of everybody like, oh, we have a new person, whoop, whoop. Maybe I'll do that sometimes, depending on who you are and what your energy is like. But it's important to let yourself be known. Introduce yourself to the instructor. Say, hey, I'm new here. What do I need to know? Or what's this vibe all about? Or any tips for making the most of this class? Those kinds of things. And it gives you that opportunity to meet somebody new and maybe make a friend as well. So we're showing up early, and we're introducing ourselves. This next one, be okay being a beginner. Be ready to learn and allow yourself to be a little awkward. I know that's hard in group fitness because there are usually what we call the front row divas who, again, they've been there for a while. They probably know the moves better than me. They're the ones that the instructor, like me, I will look at and be like, do you know what's next? What move are we doing next? I forgot. They're like, they know what's up. They know the 411, they've got it down. It can be a little intimidating, I think, sometimes when somebody knows it so well. I remember back when I was all about Powder Blue Productions, which eventually became Beachbody, I was just in this, like, I need to get all of the certifications possible mode. And I went to, so first I got Zumba, and then I think I got Insanity, or maybe it was Pio after that. It might have been Pio, Insanity. And then I went to Turbo Kick. Okay. I did one Turbo Kick class at a local gym before getting the training. I was just like, I'm an instructor, I can figure it out. I got my butt handed to me in that training. It was so hard. It was so hard. And it was intimidating because lots of the people at that training had been doing that format for like years. And at the time, Turbo Kick had the exact same warm up. It was different music, but the movements were the same. I liked that at the time because it was super easy to learn, but then it got kind of annoying and old. But there was this room of all of these women. They were women. There were no men in the training, unfortunately. There was this room of all these women who were like clapping on beat. And I was like, whoa, slow down for this girl. I got no idea what's happening. So I went from leading classes for like 3 years, knowing all the moves, knowing what was next, to being completely a beginner. But you know what? It was such a good experience because it put me in the mindset of somebody who was new to my class. And I wanted to bottle up that feeling and that energy because it was so eye-opening. It helped me realize how somebody would feel coming into a class where like 10 people knew the routine and I knew nothing. So that was actually a good thing. And I think the best instructors put themselves in situations to be a beginner. It's humbling. It reminds us that everybody's got to be a first timer or new at it some points. It's just good. It's good to do. So you're allowed to be a beginner. Allow yourself to be a beginner. Allow it to be a little awkward. Because listen, even people who have been coming to classes for years stumble over the choreography, including your instructor. We call them solos, unplanned solos. Sometimes if I'm forgetting something, I'll just turn around and sort of like make a joke or go look at form or something like that. We have all of these different tricks. That's a chat for another day, but allow yourself to be a little awkward and be ready to learn. Be ready to learn. Be ready to not be the best at it because you're trying something new, and allow yourself to lean into that. That's exciting. It's exciting to learn something new. You learn more about yourself. You open yourself to new possibilities. And had I not done that, I mean, Turbo Kick ended up being a really hot class for my clients. They loved it. I had such a good turnout for Turbo Kick back when it was a thing. I'm so glad I made myself just a little uncomfortable for a while to share that format with so many people, and it really spoke to a lot of people. Had I not done that because I didn't know what to expect, who knows how that might have played out eventually. So I'm really glad I did that. So we're showing up. We're showing up a little early. We're going to introduce ourselves to the instructor, and we're going to allow ourselves to be a beginner. We're going to allow ourselves to be a little awkward. This next one is so important. In group fitness, there are moments that it feels just like a music video. Everybody's on beat. Everybody's going the same direction. But listen, that rarely happens, okay? Rarely. The point of group fitness is not to look like we are in a Beyonce video, but sometimes we feel like we're in a Beyonce video. The point of group fitness is to share this space, share this excitement, share this energy, and meet each person where they are. And I love that about my group fitness classes because you will see everybody approach movements differently. And I really saw that when I started teaching high fitness, because in high fitness, you have opportunities to rock it at a high level, dive into burpees and tuck jumps, or take it low. And everybody really does what works best for them that day. Maybe they're used to tuck jumping, but they're just not feeling it that day. So they go into some squats or high knees or something. And that's amazing. And there's nothing wrong with that. You don't get like points taken off of your group fitness log if you don't do every move exactly the same as the instructor. That would be boring. Like it would feel like a music video for a hot second, and then it would be like, okay, do your own thing. Everybody do your own thing. So I'm really glad that group fitness meets you where you are, and you are allowed to take movements as you would like it. I saw that happen also with when I taught extreme hip hop, which is like hip hop step. Some people like added movements. I lived for that. Like, I want you to feel it. And if you're feeling it, lean in and take it to a next level, because that might inspire somebody else to push a little harder, right? Or if you're having like a bleh day and you decide you don't want to go hard, you want to take it slow, that's going to give somebody else the permission to listen to their body as well. So that's the great thing about group fitness. We can all learn from each other. There's no right way to do it. There's no right way to do it. There's a right way for you to do it. I love that. There's a right way for you. So we're showing up, we're coming a little bit early, we're introducing ourselves to the instructor, we're allowing ourselves to be a beginner and be new at this, and we are going at our own pace. My last tip, I want you to try it 3 times. So this is something those new people that come talk to me, that don't just dump in and dump out of class. If you try something once, you're gonna walk out of there like, the F just happened. What did I just do? That's literally how I felt the first time I did any of the formats that I currently teach. I walked out of there from Turbo Kick like, what am I getting myself into? The first time is just gonna be like, everything is new. What am I doing? What's happening? The second time, there's gonna be a little bit of recognition, and you might recognize even people or movements. The third time is gonna be the time that you figure out, okay, I've been here a couple times. People know me now. I recognize some of the movements. I recognize the flow and the energy. That third time is the magic time. That's gonna be the make or break time. So people that come one and done, I'm like, come on, give it a shot. So I want you to try it 3 times. 3 times. Give it 3 times. Because that first time, the adrenaline is going and you're not really sure what you're doing. The second time, you're just getting a groove. Third time, it's like, boom, it's either gonna happen or it's not. And look, no hard feelings if it doesn't work, if you don't like it. There probably was a time where as a group fitness instructor, I took it personally, but I don't take it personally anymore because I don't love every format that I've been to. I don't like every instructor I've ever taken a class from. Sometimes you just don't jive. And that's okay. That's okay. You don't feel like you have to ghost. I mean, you can be honest, but sometimes being honest is hard. So give it 3 times. Give yourself the courtesy of trying it a few times before deciding, dang, this is not for me. So I think it's really helpful to come back and give it a try. Come back, really. So those are my tips. I think a bonus tip would probably be just let loose and have fun, right? This is not like, we're not on trial for something. You're not auditioning for something. This is just a chance to be yourself, to maybe meet a new friend, make a community, try new movements, learn about new songs. I would not know what music was popular were it not for group fitness. I'd be like stuck in the 90s, which is not a bad thing because high fitness, we're kind of stuck in the 90s and 2000s, although we mix some new stuff in there too. But nostalgia is a beautiful thing. But group fitness has helped me meet so many amazing people. I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about the communities I teach in. And it feels so good to share energy. It feels so cool to share that energy. So I hope that you give group fitness a try, or you lean a little into it, or maybe you took a break because of the pandemic. Come back and give it a shot. It's such a big part of who I am, and my whole fitness profession has been based on group fitness. And even though I'm a certified personal trainer, I default to group fitness. I prefer it so much more than one-on-one. I like one-on-one, but group fitness is just different energy, and it's so fun when you can kind of meet eyes with people and like they're feeling it that day. Or my favorite is when somebody comes in kind of grumpy and they leave like, I feel so much better now. And I'm like, go figure. Group fitness cures headaches, it cures bad moods. It allows you to just be yourself and lean into something and find a supportive community. We've had so many like wedding showers and baby showers and things that support life events from our group fitness classes. And I love that. I love being part of that journey. So I hope you try something new. And if that something new is group fitness, I'm here for you. Please always reach out if you have any questions about group fitness or trying to locate the correct class or form for you. And yeah, until next time, be well.